Oh, it says I'm live now. Wow. Oh. All right, and then what else do I have to do? Oh yeah, that's right. I have to spam people. All right, where's the spamming area? Let's see. What should I spam everybody? It is Friday. It is Friday. I stream on Fridays. Here's a link to my wonderful, awesome stream. Come hang out with your fellow nerds. Thank you. That's a pretty good spam. I like that spam. Oof. Spam now? Spam now. I love that. Penguin Butt already reacted with her own form of spam. All right. I can see him typing on Discord. What's up, Evan? Ben Sanford, hello. Idini, yo, what up? Sparrow, Drew, Abcock. Abcod. Muffins. Up. Squeaky, knock it off. You know what he's doing. There's nothing on the wall. He's just pawing at the wall. Zach, I don't think Penguin Butt or Danny can ban me. I think I'm ranked above them. I don't think they can do that. I mean, I mean, like, Chicken Tender Lover, what's up, dude? Are you sick, dude? Oh man, that sucks. Just lie in bed and hang in there, dude. Has Temptations Cat Treats called you about that sweet sponsorship deal yet? No, they haven't. I need them to though. I have to be quiet. I can't. If I shake this too loud, my cats will freak out. Like, it's getting empty. There's just a tiny bit left in the bottom of this, so that's a concern. Can't shake that thing too much. They're gonna get all excited. They're already starting to gather. They're already gathering down here. It's a problem. Peleg, what's up, dude? What's up, D-dubs? But the wife is doing well. She's with her family now in Miami, and she comes home Sunday night, like late. So the birthday pizza was good. I liked it. Did my daughter remember? No, she didn't. She still hasn't said anything. Probably when my wife gets back and makes me like a cake or something, my daughter will be like, "Oh, sorry." They can still mute me? I don't think they can mute me, Dito. Homeboy, what's up? Yeah, Simpaticos was here tonight and helped me put together a computer. I have a new computer. I'm not using it right now. I'm still using the old one. It's gonna take me a while to get everything installed on it, but it works. Windows boots up in its beautiful new build. It has a glass side and the AMD processor in it. It's all like has an LED light with like multicolored spinning LED lights and stuff. Oh, it looks really cool. It's gonna be like under my desk, so I'm not really gonna see it, but it looks cool. My birthday was Wednesday. If you begin world building and you fizzle out and freeze for ideas, stop world building. Use a pre-made world. There are lots of them, and they're really good. Eberron, I especially recommend. Eberron is amazing. That's what I would do. You do not have to world build. It is by no means something a dungeon master has to do. If you are world building as a dungeon master, it should be because you are inspired to do so and you like it and you enjoy it, and your creativity demands that you create your own world. If it's something that you're just like fizzling out on, dude, then maybe world building's not your jam, and you should use a pre-generated one like Eberron. I mean, I don't build my own worlds. I use pre-gens. It saves me a lot of work. Eberron's amazing. I've been reading Eberron almost every single day. I read a little bit here and there, and it's amazing. I love it. What do I do to simplify world building? I don't build worlds. I use pre-generated worlds. That is how I simplify it. Period. End of story. Hey Sophie, what's up? Welcome to the Wormling Dragons. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. You're just all over the place. Good to see you, yo. Oh, Simpaticos. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, Sophie. Simpaticos was over at my house today, helping build my PC and stuff. And yeah, he was talking about you. There was a little bit of bitterness, I think, you know. He used to be on over my Twitch channel. He was at the top of the pecking order as far as like gifted subs go out. And then you came to town, and now he has no hope. You know, he's like, I can't compete with that, you know. So yeah, there was a little bit of despondence there, I think. What is my thought on Theater of the Mind versus mapped combat? I think they're both good. I use both of them. If you have a more specific question, I can give you a more specific answer. That's pretty generic. Do you have any tips on making an open world game? Prepare a whole lot of different things that your players can run into, or give them several plot hooks and ask them which one they want to do, and then that's the one you go off and prepare. But if you want a true open world, like open world games, sandboxy games are overrated in my opinion. Everybody on Reddit and forums are like, it's an open world sandbox. But like, seriously, for a dungeon master to actually run one of those things and do it well, like, takes a crap ton of work on the part of the dungeon master, and he has to be super, super, super good. Most games are probably going to be better if the dungeon master prepares an adventure for you. Bottom line, end of story. I think they're overrated. I don't run open world games. I give my players options, but I don't run open world games. I don't have an infinite number of things prepared for them. And I don't just make up things on the fly as they wander randomly around the game world. I don't do that. I'm sure there are some people that do. I would love to be in one of those games that's actually good. I have not been in one of them yet. I'd love to be in one. The stream hasn't even begun yet. You guys are we're getting into deep waters here, and the stream hasn't even begun yet. We're still on the starting soon screen. Oh, is Tashio here? Oh, sweet. Why is Simpaticos dead? What happened? Hey, look at that. Hey, Simpaticos, I just want to throw this out here. Sophie is a member now on YouTube. She has a little egg and stuff. And you're kind of average, dude. You're just kind of ordinary, just sitting there. You don't even have an avatar or anything next to your name. It just says Simpaticos. Just a little. Oh crap! Wait. Okay, I gotta be nice to you. You just helped me put a computer together. I gotta be nice to you. Okay, Trevor, you're awesome, dude. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Shots fired. I need some help with how to handle Faye. Oh, Faye? Dude, like the starting soon screen is talking about Faye. You can do undead campaign at any level, man. You just gotta find monsters for the appropriate level. Hey, it's Latkus. What's up, dude? How you doing? Can you help me with ideas for a homemade gladiator? No, I won't do that. I will not help crowdsource ideas. I don't do that. That's cheating. Like, extra, like I refuse to help. I just do it. I just don't do it. I don't do that. I won't do the work for folks. Like, creativity is creativity. Like, I write my own games. I make my own campaigns. But like, my expectation and my hope is that dungeon masters can come up with their own ideas for their own games and stuff. I will tell you how. I'll give you techniques and strategies for doing so. I'll teach you how to fish, but I won't do the fishing for you. I feel like that's cheating you. That's cheating you of that experience. It's cheating you of learning how to actually do it on your own. So I won't do that work for you. But tonight we're going to be creating an adventure, so you'll at least see the process for it. No, but ideas, dude. I don't know what you're asking. If you want to crowdsource ideas for something, the best way to do that is like on Facebook groups or something, or Reddit or something, where people will just you're wondering, should you make them fight one-on-one or a group fight? What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means, dude. Oh, for a gladiator? Oh, for gladiators? Oh, you could do either one. It doesn't matter. Either one could be fun. The thing, here's the thing. If you, honestly, my preference, dude, would be to have it be a group fight. Have the group of players fighting a group of gladiators. And the reason for that is that you're not going to have some of the players not playing the game. Everybody will be in the game at the same time playing the game. If you do one-on-one stuff, then what's going to happen is one player is having his gladiator fight while the other 4 players are sitting there doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that could be boring. If I were a player in a game like that, I would be bored out of my mind, because I know that there are 4 battles that are going to take place. The other players are going to be playing and I'm not going to be playing, and I'm going to probably sit there for 2 hours doing nothing, and that would be boring for me to watch them. I mean, you could make an argument, well, you shouldn't always have to be engaged in the game. You should be able to sit there and pay attention and have fun. It's like, okay, that's a weak argument. You know, that's like saying you should like liver and onions. They're good for you. You should like them and eat them. It's like, that's weak. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to do that to my players. I know I wouldn't do it. Occasionally, sometimes there's a one-on-one thing, but it's rare. Usually I play things as a group because it's a group game and I want everyone to be playing at the table. So that's an example of, like, that's a good question, dude. I can definitely give thoughts on that. At the very beginning, I thought you were asking something else, and I was like, no, dude. Sorry. What's up, Joseph? How you doing, buddy? We can start the stream now. I can get off the starting soon screen. Here we go. Let's do this. Oh, it's so beautiful. All right, we technically started answering questions before the stream even began, but I guess we just don't follow the rules around here. So tonight, what we're doing, we're going to be on YouTube for the first bit of the stream, and then we're going to go over to Twitch for the adventure creation. Tonight, we are going, so YouTube here, I'm going to be answering questions, hanging out, chilling, all that sort of thing. We'll do that for at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer. I'm not sure. We'll kind of see how things go. But at a certain point, somewhere in there, we're going to go over to Twitch, and then we're going to do, we're going to create an adventure together over on Twitch. I think we're going to do a level 1 adventure. We've been doing lots of different levels. We've been 8s and stuff, and a 15 recently. I think a level 1 would be nice. So we're going to do a level 1 adventure over on Twitch. And once we're done creating it, I will put it out there for people to use in their own games for free. And I will put links all over the place for you to get it as well, so you won't be able to miss it. So that is the plan for tonight, for tonight's little shindig that we got going on here. I do have a D&D giveaway going on as well. If one of my moderators would be so wonderful to drop a link to that. Basically, it's just exclamation point D&D giveaway. And this isn't working very well. Come on, baby, you can do it. I can't wait to get my new computer set up. Some things are getting like super slow around here. It's kind of crazy. Basically, the idea of the giveaway is, folks, is you can play D&D with me and my editor, Zach. Zach is going to be the dungeon master. I'm going to be the player. I talk about how I'm a bad player from time to time, and you'll get to witness it firsthand if you win, obviously. So there's a link to sign up for. It is open to my patrons, YouTube channel members, and Twitch subscribers. So it's one of these things I do every so often to just give folks who support the channel something else cool that they can win. And if you want to support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon somewhere, and you can jump onto that junk if you want to. If not, no big deal, because I do giveaways where I run D&D for anybody and everybody. So there's always more of those giveaways as well. So don't worry about it if you can't, jump on this one. It's not a big deal. The other thing before we get into some hardcore questions and answers is I want to let you guys know, remind you if you don't already know, or vice versa, about my Kickstarter coming up, Into the Fae. This thing is coming out September 1st. So we're about, well, that's like a week and a half away. That's getting pretty close. So Into the Fae, it is a level 1 to 5 adventure featuring lots of new Fae creatures, Fae magic items, spells, just Fae goodness. It's pretty cool. Davy Chappie probably would not be very excited about that, but that's not my problem. So this is some cool artwork. Here's a mock-up of the book. Some more artwork here. This is artwork that I've commissioned in advance because you kind of have to do that when you do Kickstarters. But obviously I have artists lined up and they're really good, and they'll be doing more art. This is an example of the maps that my dungeon cartographer Lonnie is doing. So pretty detailed, cool maps. They're not crappy. Nothing in this is gonna be crappy. I'm working with a bunch of professionals. This is one of the monsters. This is a soul spawn extractor guy right here. Oh, I have merch. These are dice bags. So this one right here will be the Kickstarter exclusive one. This one here is just a normal one. These are like micro suede, high quality, awesome micro suede. And the inside has a red liner. It's not some cheap garbage on the inside where you can see the logo and all that kind of junk. It's really high quality crap. T-shirts, of course, here's some more. Oh, here's the Kickstarter. Here's the tactical tokens. That'll be part of it as well. And then some more artwork. I'm kind of going through here pretty quickly. So yeah, that'll come out September 1st. It's pretty cool. I mean, obviously I would say it's pretty cool because I'm creating it. I might be a little bit biased in saying that. All right, let's do some questions, man. Let me pull up see we have a spreadsheet going on here with some questions. All right. I don't have any experience with sci-fi tabletop games. Call Cthulhu, but that's really it. I wouldn't consider that sci-fi. Any suggestions for modules, adventures, or resources for a desert campaign? I don't know of any of those things for desert campaigns. No, sorry, buddy. Sorry, Coal Soak. I got nothing. I don't run modules much at all. The Great Idini says, wouldn't be Luke's stream without plugging the Kickstarter. I gotta do it, dude. Like I've invested months into making this thing. Like it would be insane if I didn't talk about it. And if you believe in the quality of something, why wouldn't you talk about it? You know what I mean? It wouldn't make sense not to, dude. You know what I'm saying? Is it gonna be 5e licensed? No, of course not. Wizards, they would just take all my money, dude. They'd be like, oh, you want license? Oh, no, it's 5e compatible is what we call it. It's 5th edition compatible, which means it works with 5th edition. It's designed to work with 5th edition. But I'm not allowed to say Dungeons and Dragons anywhere in the module. And fortunately, I can say 5th edition because they can't copyright that term. It's not. They even didn't even start off calling it 5th edition. They started off calling it D&D Next. And everybody was just like, it's 5th edition, just call it 5th edition. And so the entire community is just calling it 5th edition. I think finally Wizards is now starting to call it 5th edition. It's like, of course, it's 5th edition. Stop trying to be all like, ooh, it's D&D Next. Ooh, it's like, that's not gonna work. People are too, it's not gonna work. Dark Sun, yeah, Dark Sun's, I have never played Dark Sun before, so I can't really recommend it because I have no experience with it, but I believe it's a deserty type thing, yeah. How much does it cost? Chloe, hey, what's up, Chloe? How you doing? So, Squeaky, you want to not be underneath my feet? So the PDF of it, you can get the PDF for I think $25. The book is 40, and then the PDF plus the book is 60. If you want to get the draft and then be part of the playtest, that's 75. And the draft is basically all of the adventures, everything you need to play, you get it right away. Like pretty soon after the Kickstarter closes, you're going to get what you need to actually play the game. Now it's pre-playtest. I mean, I do have a private playtest going on, but it's pre-mass playtest. So you're getting, it's a draft. It's a draft. But I'm a professional writer. Also, I mean, I'm a very good writer, so like you're getting a high quality draft, but it's still a draft. But the point is that you get it pretty soon after the Kickstarter closes, and you don't have to wait for all of the art to be commissioned, for all of the layout to be done, for the books to be, you know what I mean? It'll take a while to do all of that process and stuff, you know? And then from there on up, you know, there are merch that gets thrown in and other little perks, you know, but you're probably getting up into the higher price points that fewer people are interested in. But all of that information will be available obviously when the Kickstarter launches, but that's just some like teaser information or whatever. Why are none of the cats in the boxes? Well, the cats only really go in the box when I throw cat treats in there, usually. Spiffy Wolf says, nice house, by the way. Well, thank you, sir. This is my basement. Sometimes my wife comes down here and she's like, you have the best room in the house, which is not true. The upstairs is very, very nice too. But yeah, I may have wanted to buy this house in large part because of the wonderful basement. I'm not gonna lie. What do I think of the Blood Hunter class? I don't even know what it is. You're not sure how Kickstarter works? Basically, the way Kickstarter works is, so Kickstarter is a crowdsource funding platform. In other words, little person without a bunch of money has an idea for something really cool and they want to make a project, but they don't have the money to do it. And so Kickstarter allows them to collect the money from pledges, from people who pledge and believe in the project up front, so they can actually go do the project. That's what the idea of a Kickstarter is. If I were a typical gaming company and had like tons of capital, then like for instance, Wizards, they don't need to do Kickstarters because they have capital and they have, you know, money basically. So they can make these books in advance. Dude, the artwork and stuff, this is a crap ton of money. Like it's like $30,000+ to get like artwork commissioned for these books. So it's a ton of money. And so like little old me, like I'm a good writer, I've been writing stuff, you know, and I have connections, I know people that can do a bunch of things and stuff, but like if I had to put 30,000 up front to do this, it would never happen. So Kickstarter allows people to be able to do that. It basically, what Kickstarter is, it takes away all of the gatekeepers, you know, so that little folks can actually do big things and not just the mammoth companies and stuff. Yes, the Kickstarter will definitely ship to the EU. Absolutely. In fact, I've been working with third-party logistics companies. I've talked with like 3 of them, and 2 of them have verified that not only do they ship, I mean, they ship all over the world, but not only do they ship to Europe, but they can do the whole thing where the duties will be prepaid. So it's called European EU friendly or something like that. So you'll pay a tiny bit more on the shipping charges, but the customs are only charged on the cost to me to make the products, as opposed to the listed retail price. So you end up paying lots less customs. So your shipping price is a little higher, but you save a ton on customs and duties, and you don't have to pay those when you go to pick it up. It basically arrives prepaid, custom duties, and then boom, goes to your house, you're good to go. And so I'm working with 3PLs that are able to do that. So yeah, definitely, if you're in Europe, there are some places in the world we're not. No, it will not ship to Russia. That is one of the countries where my 3PL, I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys. There are certain countries my 3PL was like, do not ship here. It's a big problem, and Russia's one of them. So sorry. You can get the digital stuff, but can't do Russia. That was one of them. I don't. No to Brazil. I know Brazil's a no. Brazil is like, if you ship there, it's probably never going to show up, so don't do it. I don't know. I can't answer the question for every single one of them, to be honest. I know there were a couple that jumped out, and And I remember there were a few where they were like, can't do Russia. Brazil was one, and there were some other ones. There was a list of them. I don't have them all handy though. Asia in general, yes. Are there some countries there that they might not? Maybe, but in general, yeah, that's not a problem. I think they had the company that I'm probably gonna go with had like 4 main distribution locations where they ship freight to. The US, obviously, Europe, Asia, I swear that, and I think it was Australia. So yeah, they had like those places. If we go to there, we'll be able to do the whole like shipping friendly thing where the duties and customs are prepaid. I mean, you're still paying for them through your shipping costs, right? But you pay much less because you're only paying customs and duties on the manufacturing price as opposed to the listed retail price. So you save money on it, and you don't have to go somewhere and pay for it to get it released or something. I don't know all the specifics on it. That's why I'm paying a professional third-party logistics company to take care of the shipping for me, so that I don't have to mess with that. Will they ship to Atlantis? Yes, they will absolutely ship to Atlantis. Do I play other games other than D&D? I played a little bit of Call of Cthulhu. I've played some Marvel superheroes games back when I was in college. I play video games. I've played Call of Duty. I played Apex Legends for one day and decided I suck at this. I'm like, I can't even find weapons. Where are the weapons? Ah! I just get killed. Yeah, Silva, I'm talking with lots of other people who've done the publishing stuff and who have lots of experience with it. So I'm working with lots of different professionals who've done this before, you know. So, yeah. My cats are fighting. Yes, look at them. She was about to get beat up, so she ran away. I just noticed it. Oh, Squirty Pie. She ran off. Squeaky won. Squeaky always wins. What do you feel about characters that can attack a lot of times in a single turn? Action surge fighter, which can be like, what do I think about them? I think they're okay. I've never had any problems with them. That's their thing. That's what they do. They output damage. When you get later in the game, you're gonna find out that stuff isn't nearly as useful as things that wizards can do, such as Wall of Force or Hypnotic Pattern, or any number of crowd control things are infinitely more more powerful than just being able to output damage. Is this a cat stream? Oh, it might be. It could be. We could turn it into a cat stream. Feet or ASI? I almost always go with ASIs. ASIs are, if you're pumping the right one, they're universally applicable. They always are applicable. Feats, you know, they usually are situational. So I usually make sure I have my ASIs. It takes me, but I'm almost never a player though. I'm almost never a player. So it's almost I'm not the right person to ask that. I usually pump my ability scores up before I worry about feats. And I never play Variant Human, ever. What's up, Jorge? How you doing? Have I ever seen or been in a party that followed the 5-man band trope archetypes? Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. Well, you certainly don't need to do that in 5th edition anymore. They've made it so that you don't have to worry about that kind of crap. Do you have tackle wishes? I don't even know what that means. Do you mostly use the perspective of how this could work or how this could go wrong? Oh, well, that's a good question. I don't know what the first part, I don't know what tackle wishes are. I have no idea what that means. But do you mostly use the perspective of how could this work or how could this go wrong? I don't know what the context of that is. If it's something, usually my brain will gravitate toward how will this go wrong? That's just the way my brain works. I'm like, okay, what could be the problems with this? What could be the consequences with this? You know, like as the dungeon master, like I don't have to figure out how something could work. That's not my job. My players figure out how something's going to work. And I decide, will that work or not? That seems like that would work. Okay, cool, it works. But yeah, I don't have to think about that very much. Oh, how do you deal with it? I think I answered your question. How many cats are there? 7. I have a total of 7 right now. It used to be 9, and it used to be 11 before we gave some away because I was like, this is crazy. My wife is like, but they're so cute. And I'm like, no! We took in a stray who ended up being pregnant, of course, and then had 4 kittens. What do you think of a fighter mage that uses action surge to cast 4 spells per turn? I don't even think that's possible. You can only action surge once. Because it takes a bonus action to act. Doesn't it take a bonus action to action surge? I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Let's look this up. I don't even think that's possible. Action surge. Action surge. Come on, D&D Beyond. You could do it. Action surge. Starting at 2nd level, you can push yourself beyond your normal limits for 1 moment. On your turn, you can take 1 additional action. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest. Oh, okay. So you can only take 1. You can only action surge once on your turn. And then at 17th level, you can do it twice. Okay. But there's another rule that's pertinent as well. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it in D&D Beyond. Its search functionality is pretty crap. I'm just gonna look it up in the book. It's in the spellcasting area. See if I can find it. No, I think that only applies to bonus actions. I think it's only if you use a bonus action can you not cast, because it says if you use a bonus action for a casting time, if you have a spell that's a bonus action, cast it. It says you can't cast another spell during the same turn except for a cantrip. During the same turn, except for a cantrip. So if it's a bonus action, then you can only cast a cantrip. I don't know, dude. I mean, I think I just don't care. So if a wizard fighter action surges to cast 2 spells, it's like, okay, whatever. He just used the class feature, and now he casts 2 spells, and he can't do that again until he short rests. He still used up a spell slot, you know. And if it doesn't sit well with you, then start having your monsters take a little bit of fighter and wizard and action surge and stuff. You could always do the same thing. Whatever your players can do, you can do too. You know, so I don't know. That doesn't bother me too much. Compared to other things I've seen, that doesn't really bother me a whole lot. Can the Oath of Conquest Paladin be a good alignment? Probably. If there's I'm not familiar with it. If there's nothing in there that says that it can't, that it has to be evil or something, then I think it'd be fine. I don't believe in alignment restrictions for classes and crap anyway. If my player has a concept for something and it makes sense, then I allow it. I'm not gonna be like, it says in the book that you have to be neutral evil or something. No, that just is dumb. How would you handle the magic item Horn of Valhalla or other items or spells that do a similar thing? It summons a lot of spirits that feels like it would slow down combat. Yeah, it does. I had a Horn of Valhalla once. So the way that magic item works is you blow on it and it summons like barbarian warriors basically. And the crazy thing is, I think it was my Sword Coast Guard group. I gave them one of those things, and they used it and summoned a bunch of warriors. And the very first time they used it, they also rolled a 1 or whatever, and it broke, and they could only ever use it once. And yeah, it was powerful, but I didn't give it to them until they were like, you know, pretty high level either. And I think they were pretty high level. They were at least like 8 to 10, maybe higher, 12 maybe before they got it. Does it bog things down? Sure it does. Of course it does. Whenever you introduce like several more, you know, minions or summons or something, it bogs the game down a little bit, you know. So I usually don't like that sort of thing, you know. But my players for that group are pretty good about that sort of thing, and they make decisions pretty quickly. They don't sit there and hem and haw about trying to figure out what their guys are going to do. And so I trust them to a certain extent. They know that I don't want the game to bog down, and they're pretty good about that. And so it doesn't bother me. Now, if I had a group that was like going to sit there for 20 minutes figuring out what those warriors did, oh, there's no way I'd give them that. Oh, no way. They'd never get it. They're not capable of handling that magic item. What artifact would you give to your PCs? I don't know, just pick one that you think is cool. That's my advice. I gave them once was it the Eye of Vecna or the Hand of Vecna? I think it was the Eye of Vecna. I gave them the Eye of Vecna in their second to last mission or adventure of the campaign. And I knew that one of the characters would want to put it in. And he did want to put it in, but the others were like, you are not, who was it? Not Nigel. What was his name? Simpaticos, are you still here? What was his character's name? I forget his actual character's name. We always just called him Nigel. I don't know if you're still here or not. But he wanted to put it in, and everybody else at the table was like, no, you are not putting that in. So he didn't. They didn't use it, and they did the final battle and stuff. And then the campaign was over, and I asked them to describe, you know, what do you do? You know, now that the threat to the region, the threat of Lord Paxton has ended, what do you guys all do? And Nigel's character, he's like, okay, first of all, I gouge my eye out and I put the Eye of Vecna in, and then blah, 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 blah. And then he did something, you know. Sebastian. Yes, exactly. How do you like adding terrain or environmental effects to add a new dynamic to encounters? I made an entire video about doing that and why you should do that. So I feel that it is a very good thing. How do you handle a player dying and having their soul put into a robot after an emotional scene of the character dying in front of the party? Love your content, by the way. How do I handle it? I don't know. What do you mean, how do I handle it? It just happens. I figure out a way for it to happen if I want that to happen. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to answer that, besides it happens, and I come up with some justification for it. How many campaigns do I run simultaneously? Right now, I run the Curse of Strahd, the Ancient Dragon Patreon campaign, I run a Wonder Panda campaign at work, although I've been canceling those more and more recently because people at work and meetings and life and crap. And then I run my Youngling campaign. So four. What are your thoughts about using enemies with player classes? No, I don't do that. I never do that. I simply take an enemy stat block and I change their stat block however I want it to be. Do I want them to have the Polar Mastery feat and the Great Weapon Mastery feats? Great, they have them. Boom, I'm done. Do I want this person, this fighter who doesn't cast spells, to have a few spells that he can cast? I add those spells in. Boom, I'm done. I do not add classes to them. Classes are for players. They're for player character sheets. That's what classes are for. Dungeon masters use stat blocks. So I take a stat block, and if I'm not satisfied with what that stat block can do, I add stuff to it, and I make it a bigger stat block, have more cool stuff in it. I don't mess with classes. I just put abilities and features and cool stuff that they can do into the stat block. Bajillion times easier, and yeah, that's what I do. I don't care about classes. Dungeon masters don't care about classes. Well, I don't, but I'm a dungeon master. Do I include dialogue during battle? I think it would add flavor to it, but it can sound so cheesy. Do I include dialogue? Yeah, I include dialogue all the time during battle. My enemies are constantly talking to the players when combat is going down. They're taunting them. Most of the time it's taunting them or saying stuff to them. I will always have I won't say always, but many times my enemies will be talking to players while the combat is happening. That doesn't need to stop. And that's part of that's part of the way you can continue to like role play your enemies, you know, personalities and stuff during the combat and make the combat more interesting. Now, I'm not reading some bull crap from I never read crap from a piece of paper when I have my enemies speak, of course, because that is not, I want to say it's lame. It's just not what I do. I don't do that. I improvise their speech. If I know what an enemy's motivations are, if I know what their personality is, then I can just improvise what they say. You know, I would never read something from a piece of paper. Let's take a quick moment here to, where's my thingy? I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons and members here who help make everything around here possible. So in particular, I want to shout out Beoban, Candy Sora, Clammed Oyster, DM Silver, Drake H, Elisa Goose, Float 7 D1, Iron Lord 79, John Henry, man, my screen is hard to read, Joe M, Joseph H, Karen D, Kurt Y, Lord Humongous, Meepy 670, Mr. T, Nathan, One Lord Hendo, Patrick C, Penguin Butt, Rainier the Conqueror, Sophia W, Son of a Sofa Man, Tactical Tokens, Tim Black, Theta Tag, and Yo Kai. Thanks, folks, for supporting the channel. I appreciate that. By the way, I want to remind you, if you are a patron or a YouTube member or a Twitch sub, we have a hangout. When's our hangout? Every month we do like a hangout where we all get together and we hang out over a video and voice chat. And I'm trying to remember when it is. I think it's this. Is it this? It's not tomorrow, Saturday, but I think it's the Saturday after that. So we have that coming up. I'm pretty sure. Is that when it is? It's not tomorrow. It can't be tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, it's August 29th. August 29th. We get together on like Zoom, voice and video, all of us, and we just hang out and talk. It's really cool. It's lots of fun. So that's coming up, by the way. Don't forget about that. More questions. Air Force Grandpa says, I'm DMing Descent into Avernus for my players, and they just entered hell. What would you recommend making hell interesting and making it feel like hell? Include things like hellish. So what I would recommend you do, there is a 3.5 supplement called, I forget what it's called. Let me see it. Fiend Folio? Is it Fiend Folio? I forget what it's called. They made it for 3.5, and it basically detailed in pretty good detail the 9 hells and the abyss. But actually, that's now available. Actually, you don't even need to do that. That's all available now in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. So you could, I would pick up Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes and read up on the 9 hells there and draw inspiration from there. And there are lots of monsters like devils and stuff too that you could draw inspiration from. So that's what I would do. I'm not going to give you specifics on what you could do. I kind of want you to use your own noodle and figure that out yourself. But that's a resource you can use to kind of spark creativity and get you inspired and stuff. Help, I bought 10 modules and I don't know what to run as I want everything. Well, yeah, you're screwed. You shouldn't have bought 10 of them, man. Just pick one, dude. Pick one, do one. Just pick one. Have your players, ask your players which one they want to do. Narrow it down. Narrow it down to your top 3 ones that you really want to run, and then ask your players. I don't know. You got to figure out a way, dude. Just ship them all to me, and then I'll give you one back. That's the one you run. What would you recommend to help balance out a fight encounter for a 12th level 9-man party? Dude, so you have to have... really got yourself into it with 9 players, didn't you? Generally speaking, the best way to help balance out fights is by using action economy, which means that basically for every player you have, there's another enemy, roughly. And so when I run my normal group with 4 to 5 players, I'm dispatching groups of enemies where there's about 4 to 5 enemies, and action economy works out pretty well. However, with 9 players, if you have 9 enemies, combats are gonna take even longer because they're long to begin with because you got 9 players, and now they're even longer because you're adding more enemies. So you basically just need to beef up your enemies. You need to make stronger enemies. If you're using the CR rules and you're using online calculators to figure out roughly how many you should send at them, and it's still way too easy, just beef up, use higher CRs and stuff, beef them up a little bit, give them more hit points, give them higher. Well, giving them more hit points makes combats even longer, so I don't know that I necessarily recommend that. Increase their damage output, make them do twice as much damage, to make them a great. I tend, so like now that the more that I've run 5th edition and stuff, it's like giving more hit points just makes things take longer. I would rather have more like a glass cannon type of enemy that just does tons of damage, because that's kind of freaky, but doesn't have as much hit points and dies a little bit easier. So that might be something to consider. Have you ever made a player cry in an emotional scene? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's D&D. We're killing goblins. Maybe my games just don't go that deep. But I've never had that happen that I'm aware of. Everybody keeps asking me if I watch Joe Cat's Crap Guide to D&D. No, I don't watch those. There's too much profanity. Deceiver says Luke makes me cry when he dances. Yeah, over on Twitch we like sing and dance. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Do you like Quincy's Tavern? I don't even know what that is. Maria says tips on giving out loot, especially in random encounters and minions. I find it boring, so I've been neglecting it. Unless it is something already stated in the module. Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Why is giving out loot boring? Do your players find it to be boring? Or do you find it to be boring? Like, there are some things that I think are boring that my players think are interesting, and I do it anyway because my players like it. I would always give out loot. I roll on random tables. If you want real, I'd have to know why you think it's boring, and if your players think it's boring, to actually offer solutions. It's a little generic right, with just that. What do I think about the take mechanics, adapt the flavor philosophy some optimizers use to create heavily multi-class builds? Are you okay with changing a class completely flavor-wise? I'm not sure I totally understand that, Andrew. The last part, I think I can answer that. Are you okay with changing a class completely flavor-wise? I think so. I wouldn't have a problem with that. What's a good CR rating for level 1 players? You like 1/4. Level 1 players are so squishy. You got to be so careful with them. 1/4. And give them easy or medium encounters. No hard, no deadly. They'll just get squashed. Level 1, 2, and 3 are really swingy and they're really squishy. So you gotta have like kids gloves on with them. Do you intend to launch your adventures in other languages? No. Nope. English all the way. Do you like adding terrain or I think I already answered that one. What are your thoughts on the newest source book, Theros? I don't have it yet. How would you handle PCs crafting armor? I don't like rules as written. I was wondering if you have a better. I don't have a better system. If you don't like the rules as written, then you can either go out to like Drive Through RPG or a DM's Guild and see if there's something else that already exists that you could buy, or you can make up your own rules. My players don't craft things very often. If they do, it's during downtime, and it's usually just a couple dice rolls and we're done with it. That's not like, that sort of thing isn't the focus of my games. The focus of my games are the adventures. And so we spend most of our time in the adventures doing stuff. So I just don't really think about that stuff too much. Would pairing a boss that gets stronger with allies and a boss that makes clones be too OP? Nothing's too OP as long as you balance it for your group. I don't know how to answer that. I could take both of those ideas you just mentioned and implement them in a way that's perfectly balanced and perfectly fine for my players, because I would just make sure that they're balanced. My coffee is empty, I know. I'm doing the best I can here. I should get some more coffee. Opinion on group attack rolls for same type of monster to speed up combat. Maybe for large groups, no. I think there are alternate rules in the DMG, or I've heard them. I don't do that. I just roll quickly. And I use average damage. Using average damage, hands down, speeds up my turns as a dungeon master amazingly. All I gotta do is roll one die. It's not that hard. I have 5 monsters. Boop, he missed. Boop, he missed. Boop. Oh, hey. Oh, that hits. It doesn't take that long to do that. You just gotta be, you know. Now when I have to roll 2d8 dice and add a number to it, that takes a lot longer. So using average damage speeds things up amazingly. Please only use #question for actual questions. Thank you. That's a very good point. Have I ever made my own feat or boon for a group? Boons or special rewards, maybe. Feats, no, I don't really homebrew that sort of stuff. The only things that I really homebrew are, I homebrew the crap out of monsters. I tweak monsters all the time. I don't necessarily come up with like super unique ideas all the time, but I'll take an existing monster and tweak it a bit, because some of the monsters are boring. Like giants are one of the most boring monsters you could ever have your players go against. They're just big sacks of hit points that do damage. Most boring thing in the world. So I routinely tweak things like that. I come back into the stream and get a cat ad. Oh, really? Well, I mean, you know, we have lots of. Look at Squirty Pie. Squirty Pie. Come on, be decent. You're on camera. Oh, okay, she's okay. Here we go. Let's just get rid of that. Iron Lord is really enjoyed murder out from Black Rifle or just black, gray, blue. Nice coffee. Okay, you're talking about coffee. Yeah, I don't care if my players, most of my players recognize monsters when they see them. Can you make merch with the kitties? I'm actually in the middle of making merch with the kitties. I had Penguin Butt find some Fiverr artists, and I have to review them still. And then we're gonna make some. The idea is to make some stickers. First, we're gonna make some stickers with kitty pictures on them, and then maybe some T-shirts or something. I don't know. What I really want, I want. I have a picture of Orange sitting, kind of like showing his like Buddha. He's like sitting like Buddha, showing his big bald belly, and he's looking up like what? So I have this image in my mind of a big image on a shirt of Orange just sitting like that with his big bald belly, with this big dumb face, and then it just says what? I don't know if anybody would care about that, but I think that was hilarious. So eventually we'll get some crap like that. The problem is priorities, and you know, I have a finite amount of time, so I have to prioritize the activities I'm involved in. And right now that's low on the list. I'm just kind of poking at it though. It'll happen eventually. Do you ever play D&D in low or candlelight with mood music? And I've never done it. I mean, it sounds fun. I've seen photos of people doing it. I'm sure it's cool. I've just never done it. Could you homebrew giant cat monsters? Yes, I could. Where's the link to the Kickstarter? It's down in the description for sure. But I'm sure one of our wonderful moderators could drop a link to it as well. There's a command for it. It's just !Kickstarter. Who's calling me? Are you serious? My mom. No. Why does she always like, oh, Luke must be streaming. Let's call him. Is stream, oh, Stream Elements is working. Okay, cool. Stream Elements is actually working. Oh, by the way, I figured out how to fix it. If you were here on Wednesday when we were... Are you done? Are you done beeping? Okay, I think my phone is done beeping now. If you were here on Wednesday, Stream Elements wasn't working, but I figured out how to get it to work. I basically have to kick the bot out and then let him back in, and then it works again. Tuesday's stream is gonna be with Luke's mom. I know. It's like, she's always like calling me. Maybe your mom's calling in with a question. I don't think she is, Danny. I don't think so. What is Simpaticos doing? Penguin Butt, you make me nervous when you do a heart thing at Simpaticos. Oh, is Simpaticos trying to be nice to the moderators now? Oh, okay, Penguin Butt, don't let that fool you. That's a trick. That's a trick. Don't trust him. Never trust him. I'm gonna fill my coffee cup up. I'll be back in a hot second. Orange. No, I don't stream on Tuesdays, Danny. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Another cat ad? Awesome. My favorite thing outside of the D&D world? Oh, What's my favorite thing outside of the D&D world? My mom sends me a text message. What did she say? Lucas, this is your mother, and I am watching you live, and you are in deep trouble for how you answer that phone, and I don't want to talk to you now. I'm in trouble. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, well, I guess I'm in trouble. Oh, did somebody say that she was probably in stream or something? Well, here's the thing. If she's watching the stream, why is she calling me? Like, she knows I'm streaming. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm not making it up, you guys. Like, literally, it's right here. Just want to make sure it's not going to show anything here. Oh, you can't really see it. Okay, never mind. Oh, there it is. See? You can see it. It's literally what she sent me. Oh well, I guess she just probably won't talk to me for a while and won't be calling me. She should ask the question in the stream. Yeah, she should type something into the stream and ask the question. Yeah, I agree. I don't know that you're gonna make sure I'm a good boy. I don't know. I don't know why her name's listed like 5 times. I don't know what my favorite thing outside of D&D is. I like biking, and I like going for jogs outside and stuff. I love doing like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I love doing that. It's so much fun. I haven't done it in so long though. I really love that crap. I really want to do that again. That was lots of fun. So I like doing that. I don't really get to Besides exercising, I don't get to do a whole lot. It's not D&D related, just because that's my job right now. I have to do it all the time. The pile of work never goes away. Oh yeah, I'm sure that was my mom. Mom, if you keep sending me messages, I'm gonna just keep showing them to everybody. We wanted to jack with you. I was showing Ben your podcast. He subscribed. I don't know what that means. I don't have a podcast. This is a YouTube channel. I do not have there are good reasons I do not have a podcast. Am I in the SCA? I was in the SCA, Jason. Back when I was in college, I went to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and I was in the SCA there. Okay, now I'm muting my phone. There. I think it's called Middle Kingdom. I think it's Middle Kingdom is the name of the region or whatever. So yeah, I was in the SCA. It was lots of fun. I'm not convinced there's ROI on a podcast. I don't think there would be a good ROI. Like I only have so much time, and I have to be selective about the activities that I engage in. And if I could see a demonstrated value and an ROI on a podcast, I'd consider it. But right now, you know, that would mean either I'm taking the content that I already make and I'm just making it available in audio form, which doesn't make sense because you could just listen to it on YouTube in audio and just not watch it. Or I would be making additional content, and there's no place in my life right now where making additional content works. and I would need to be convinced of ROI. There's no way I would do it without ROI. I need to see that. Do you have a most stressful improv moment as a dungeon master? No, I never stress out as a dungeon master. No, not for improving. The things that get me stressed out as a dungeon master are if like a player and I are kind of having a little bit of an argument and tension and emotions are getting a little heated. Those are the things that stress me out. But outside of that, nothing ever really stresses me out. I just don't. It just doesn't. No. And I've been put in some situations where they go somewhere that I'm not at all prepared for. I make it up, but it doesn't stress me out. No. Squirty Pie. What are you doing down there, Squirty Pie? I have no idea. She was just rolling. It looked like she was going to start attacking herself, or like her tail or something. She's like, something's going on. She's acting a little weird. Oh, there she go. Okay, gotta take that off there. Don't want to see that. I've never played Rise of Tiamat. I have the poster because it looks cool. That's the entire reason I have that poster. What do you think about sending hordes of weak monsters at players? I have found my players don't like it, but I wonder what you think. I sometimes do it and they kill them really fast. I do it from time to time just so they can be like, oh, look at, we just slaughtered those things really fast and we're really powerful. I don't do it super often. Maria says about the loot, 2 players love killing things and getting stuff. I like unique items, but just normal loot, coins, weapons, etc. not so much. Tables can get repetitive or underwhelming. Well, then create your own stuff. That's the answer. If you like doing it, I guarantee your players are going to like loot regardless of whether it's from the book or if you made it and homebrewed it. So I would create more custom stuff that you enjoy doing and then giving it to your players. And that way everybody wins. What do you think about players that want to change their class in the middle of a campaign, but don't want to make a new character? Too bad. They need to make a new character. That would be my response. It's like, I'm perfectly fine. Like, how do you even change your class but not make a new character? Like, how does that even work? It doesn't even make sense. Like, what are you gonna do? Well, I still want his name to be the same and his background to be the same. I just want to swap out his class. Nah, I wouldn't be on board with that. I'm not on board with that. If you want to play a new character, a new class, I'm okay with that. You can make up a new character. I don't think we're gonna do some swap out a class thing. I don't think we're doing that. That would probably be like, that's too much for me. Make a new character if you want to. Do you have any D&D pet peeves as a dungeon master besides your players making dice towers or being distracted? Not actually, my players usually aren't distracted too much that I can see. I have one player that will be on his phone from time to time, but besides that, my players usually are pretty good about paying attention. So I don't have that problem. I know that other people might, and so I think I mention it in videos and stuff, but it doesn't actually happen to me very much. The biggest pet peeve I have, is when I'm talking and somebody interrupts me. Can't stand it. It's like, dude, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt anybody else for that matter. It's like, if I'm in the middle of describing something or telling you guys something, I don't do big, huge monologues. I don't do this whole, I'm going to read you an entire page of read aloud text. I don't do that crap usually. You know, I try to make my descriptions short as possible, so that I'm not just delivering a big old wall of text to them. So like, if someone interrupts that, you know, or makes some comment to somebody sitting next to him, that's a big pet peeve of mine. Side conversations. I will not tolerate side conversations. If two players are talking, I will not run the game. I will wait until they're done and they're at least stop talking to each other, because that's causing it's distracting me and it's distracting others. So if there's a side conversation going on, I stop what I'm doing and I stare at them until they get the idea and they be quiet. You know, I used to be a teacher, so I have a stare of death. I just stare of death time, and then when they stop, okay, let's play the game. So interrupting me, I don't like it. Can't do side conversations. It's like, if you're gonna zone out and go on your phone, oh, you know what? That's your business. But the side conversation interrupts the game, you know, then that's a bigger problem. So those are probably my two biggest pet peeves, I would say. Bye, Karam. Thanks for hanging out with us. Oh, she's got a cat picture avatar. That's really cool. The teacher voice. I'll wait. Well, I don't even say anything to them. I don't say anything at all. I literally just stop what I'm doing and I just stare at them. That's all I do. That's all I do. I think they get the idea. What do you do when the players pause for 7+ seconds between sentences and then feel bad that someone interrupted them? What do you do when players pause for 7+ seconds between sentences and then feel bad that someone interrupted? Well, dude, you can tell when somebody's trying to find their thoughts. Like, if you're in the middle of a sentence and you pause and then you're going to finish it, most human beings can tell. Most people can tell when somebody's trying to collect their thoughts. So I feel like they should, you know, not interrupt them. But there's also a point in time when, like, if you're gonna sit there and pause for half a minute, you gotta expect that somebody's gonna start talking, you know. Does the Star of Death? We got a cat fight going on here. We got to see how this ends. My money's on Squeaky. My money's on Squeaky winning. He's the one with the white on his belly. I guarantee you Squeaky wins. And she's gonna just trying to bite him. Yeah, well, they're brother and sister. They love each other, you know. They're not actually gonna hurt each other. It's like they know they're on stream, so they don't want to do anything. I know, they're just patting each other's heads. Like, oh, my sister. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh man, going off camera. Going off camera. Oh, Squirty Pie ran away. See, I told you. I told you she ran away. Squeaky is victor. Squeaky has been crowned victor. There we go. Hey, Witherlord, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? You'll be in the stream in spirit? I don't know if that works, dude. I mean, it might be a D&D thing. Oh, that's a picture of your cat, Karam? Oh, cool. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry. We lost 2 cats this summer. So I feel that, yo. Okay, yeah. Bye for real. Jason King says, will the Kickstarter adventure come with maps compatible with virtual tabletops? Yes. Yes. One of the very first stretch goals is map packs that will give you a image file that is made to go into Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds. So yes, you will get image files that you can just put right into a virtual tabletop. Yes, absolutely. You will get that. It's like one of the very first stretch goals that I have, which means you'll get it because, you know, the stretch goals start off like pretty low and then they go higher, and it's like one of the very first ones, so you'll get it. What level do you start a campaign on average? Usually level 1, but I did start my Curse of Strahd at level 3. But the only reason I started at level 3, in all honesty, is that Death House is not made for a level 1 group. And so I started them at level 3. And then the rest of the game, I'll probably have to like, I'm still getting a feel for my Curse of Strahd players' abilities, how well they are in combat and stuff. So far they've been pretty much demolishing every encounter that I throw at them. They've been doing super well, and so I'm still getting a feel for that, and I'll be ratcheting things up until I get a feel for what they can handle and what they can't. You know, I mean, they killed a vampire at level 3. Were they 3? Yeah, they were level 3 and they killed a vampire already. Oh no, a vampire spawn. Because one of them can do radiant damage every turn. I'm probably going to be homebrewing my vampires a little bit for Curse of Strahd to ramp them up a little bit, considering my players are turning out to be pretty powerful. So I'm going to be tweaking some stuff. Look forward to that. Simpaticos. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not that big of a deal. I did drop one of the players to 0 hit points. But usually his vampire spawn are going to be immune to most of their attacks, and they're going to have regeneration going on, which is going to help them. Like, their stat block assumes a little bit of regeneration, and this guy wasn't able to do any of that stuff, and they were able to hurt him pretty easily. And so that made it much easier than it would have been. But I still dropped one of them to 0, so it's not, you know, I feel like I did okay. How do I feel about sci-fi campaigns? I've never played in one. Sure, I'm sure it's fun for people who like sci-fi campaigns. Mr. Gore says, hey man, started watching your channel a few months ago. Started DMing for my friends. Really appreciate the advice. Hey, you're welcome. Very welcome, dude. I'm happy to help, man. Will the Kickstarter open up? When will the Kickstarter open up? Oh, September 1st. The Kickstarter goes live September 1st, Terrace. Yes, Death House is way too hard for levels 1 and 2. Yeah, they were level 3. How dark do you like your coffee? Oh, I love bitter coffee. Black, bitter. Ooh, the more bitter, the better. Oh, yeah. Any idea when you plan to end the Kickstarter? 1 month. It opens up September 1st and it ends September 30th. So it's 1 month. What will it be when all the stretch goals are reached? No, that's not how. No, Kickstarters, they don't work that way. The way a Kickstarter works is you have a very definite start and end date, And if you don't hit the stretch goals, then you don't hit the stretch goals, and people don't get those things. It's been statistically, it's been proven out that having a definitive end date is beneficial for a Kickstarter and will help it be more successful. When you don't have an end date, then there are various problems associated with that. So there's always a definite end date, and there's good reason for that. It's been proven out to be more successful to do that than not to have an end date. Oh, you have the same taste as coffee as I do, TVN? Cool, dude. Yeah. I never put... Some people put like milk and sugar and coffee and like totally ruin it. Like, if I wanted to have something sweet, I'd go drink a pop or an energy drink or something. Like when I want coffee, I want like that bitter kick. I don't know, man. Why? My cat's down here meowing at me. Nixit says 5e has taken away a lot of fear of death for players. What is your opinion? I agree, it has. It absolutely has. That's why. So what I'm doing right now for my games is I have lingering injuries. When somebody drops to 0 hit points, they get a lingering injury. And the lingering injuries are, some of them are really bad. Some of them are like so bad. And that lingering injury doesn't go away until they take a rest and receive magical healing. The magical healing is easy, everybody has that. But taking a short or long rest doesn't happen all the time. So some of these lingering injuries they have to deal with for a while. And so that's my way of making dropping to 0 hit points more of an event. And making it more like, don't drop to 0 hit points because you're gonna have a lingering injury. And yeah, for 5th edition, yeah, dropping to 0 is usually not a big deal. Dying is usually not a big deal. I saw somebody was publishing some alternate rules whereby when you drop to 0 hit points, you're still up and you're still kind of in the fight. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. 5th edition has already marginalized and made it so dumb easy that like to make it even easier is just craziness. So I the only real thing to worry about in 5th edition is a TPK when everybody dies. But if one person's still alive, then usually it's not a big deal. Depends on what level they are. At lower levels, it's more dangerous and more difficult. At higher levels, it depends on the campaign you're running too, and the availability of raised deads and stuff like that. So it depends. There are ways to change it. I've never tried Turkish coffee. No, I've never tried that. If you eat cereal, what gang are you part of? Personally, I'm part of the captain. I don't have a cereal gang. I actually like yogurt, Greek yogurt with like granola and flax seeds and chia seeds and a little bit of cereal or something in it. Usually that's what I prefer that over cereal usually. And then I just drink milk with protein powder and stuff. Hey, Nikotato. Nikotato. What's up? Welcome to the stream, dude. Hey, Karam, I just want to point this out. You're still here, and you said like 5 minutes ago you were leaving. You can stay as long as you want. I'm just mentioning. Any ideas for motivating players in a prison break? Motivating them? No, I'm not going to motivate them. They can motivate themselves. If they don't motivate themselves, they're going to be stuck in prison and they're not going to break out. I'm not motivating them. If they're not motivated to break out, then like, okay, do you not want to play D&D? What do you guys want to play? You want to play a different game? Want to play Monopoly? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't motivate players to play the game. If they don't want to play the game, then they don't have to play the game. I mean, there are other players I can find if you don't want to play the game. How would you feel about a system where you carry over failed death saves until you take a long rest? I don't know. Something like that, I would talk with my players. We'd have to imagine scenarios, and if we thought that it wouldn't be too horrible, we might play test it. But without thinking it through and play testing it, I can't really give you a solid opinion. Most things like that I introduce to my games are, I talk to my players about it, and we play test it and we feel things out. Even the lingering injury table that I use, we've changed some things on it because some of the stuff's way too heavy-handed. And I have a insanity system that I'm running right now with my Curse of Strahd group, and we're still tweaking it and figuring things out for it. You ready for tomorrow? I don't know, Tiffany. What's happening tomorrow? Oh, you're playing with Tashio. Oh, yeah. Who let Tiffany in? Yeah, you guys are playtesting my Into the Fae. Yeah, that's cool. Trevor was Sympathicos was telling me like what you've done so far. He was telling me that somebody fell into the pit too. Somebody jumped across and fell into the pit. Oh, that makes me so happy. The world's best trap. Have you ever had any moments in a game where you regret how you handled it? Absolutely. If so, how would you have changed it? So the two instances, well, some of the instances that I regret how I handled it have to do with like saying no to a player when instead of saying no, I should have asked him how he was going to do a thing. Instead of asking how he would do it, I just said no because I couldn't conceptualize a world in which that could work. But instead, I should have been like, well, I don't know how that would work. How would that work? Can you explain how your character would make that work? And then he may or may not have an answer to that. Maybe he did, and it could have been possible, but I didn't even consider it. And I threw it out the gate. So there were a couple of times when that happened. I kind of regretted it. Would you use police hostility if the PCs are staying in prison to try to get contacts? Why? Are the police, are the guards and stuff usually like that? Would that be proper role playing? I mean, I would only do that if that were actually how they were in that city and I was role playing them properly. Oh, you like the lingering injury table? Lingering injury idea? I have a table. I can, I can find the table. Hold on, let me find the table for you. I can drop a link to the table that I use. I didn't make it myself. I found it online. We did change a bunch of stuff. I will tell you that we changed a bunch of stuff because some of the stuff is way too heavy-handed. Copy link. There we go. That's the lingering injury table that I grabbed and have been modifying to use. Yes, Penguin Butt is earning her wrench tonight. Yes, some of them was, yeah, Tiffany played in a game with me. Yeah, some of them are really hard. I mean, they're supposed to be. They're not supposed to be like they're supposed to. You almost died. You were this close to dying. So the Lingering Rangers are supposed to be nasty, but some of them are too nasty. And so the ones that are too nasty, I'm ratcheting back. But they're supposed to be nasty. That's the entire purpose of it. Yeah, there will be an official Luke lingering injury video. What I actually want to do for that video is I want to create my own lingering injury table that I've kind of vetted and I think works well, and then present my system for using them when you drop to 0 hit points. And then I'll publish that for people to use, and then I'll make a video talking about it and then sending people to where they can get it. It'll be free. I'll offer it for free. Almost all of my stuff I offer for free. Why not use the Dungeon Master Guide version? I've seen it. Oh, it's been a while since I looked at it. We could look at it right now. What I remember is that it's way too nasty. It's very bad. Lingering injuries. Lingering injury. Let's see if D&D Beyond can actually help us find this. Injuries. Let's see. This might be it. Lingering injuries. You lose an eye, so you have to use like regenerate to get it back. That sucks. Lose an arm or a hand? That's horrible. Lose a foot or a leg? Give me a break. Limp. Magical healing. That's not that big of a deal. Internal injury. The injury heals with magical healing. That's not that big. That's these two things are trivial. If you drink a healing potion, they're gone. Trivial. Horrible scar. Now this is a little bit more difficult because it takes really high level magic to get rid of it. Festering wound. The wound heals if you receive magical healing. So again, healing potion and it's solved. So that is trivial. It's meaningless. What, Squeaky? Minor scar is trivial. So basically what you have here, 1, 2, or 3 are insanely heavy-handed. Arguably just kind of ruin your character and would make your character almost unplayable. Whereas the other ones are trivial and are meaningless for all intents and purposes. So I think it's a bad table. It's a very bad table. I should say this. It doesn't work for the purposes that I want to use it for. That for sure. It's a bad table for what I would want to use it for. Is there a world in which it's a good table for somebody somewhere? Possibly. This is your mom and you get no pasties and talking to your wife. My mom is in chat. So my mom is Kay Robinson, it looks like. So everybody say hi to my mom and tell her that I need pasties or I won't be able to survive. Yeah. I hate critical fail tables. I hate them. My players hate them. Critical fail table. I made a video. I'm pretty sure I made a video about critical fail tables at one point or another. Or it was part of a larger video. It might have been part of like a compilation. It might have been like a top 5 things that players hate or top 10 things that players hate or something. It was a video a while ago. Yes, Luke. Hi, Luke's mom. He is at work. I'm working. Penguin Butt says, Luke's mom, I adore you, but give him the pasties. Yes, I need the pasties. Please, pasties. Robin Gomez is also voting for pasties. You see, mom, they all want you to give me pasties. Do you ever make custom homebrew spells? Not a whole lot, in all honesty. Most of the spells, most of the spells I think are fine as is. If I'm making a custom homebrew spell, it's going to be for a specific theme, for a specific purpose, like for my Into the Fae module. Those will be themed around the Fae and stuff, and I think that's a little bit different. But usually I don't get too much into custom homebrew spells, in all honesty. What are pasties? Stephanie. I'm not Stephanie, Sophie. What do you mean what are pasties? Okay. Get ready to learn about the most delicious food in the world. What is it? Cornwall pasty? All right. All right, here we go. Prepare yourself. These are pasties. Okay. This is a good image. Look at this. It's basically, it's like dough kind of with beef, rutabaga, potatoes. I think they have carrots. I think there's onions in there too. Absolutely amazing. Oh, this one looks good too. Oh, look at that one. Oh. They come with this, like, the crust is amazing. Amazing crust. Look at these ones. Those look pretty good too. Oh, this is weird. The crust is over the top. They cinched it together on the top. I've never seen that before. That's really weird. Oh my goodness. Look at these things. Oh. I have pasties in the freezer. Oh my word. Oh, you guys have no idea how delicious these are. Wow. Amazing. You see, this is why I ask my mom for these things all the time. Every time she's like, Luke, what do you want me to make for you? I'm like, pasties. Well, that's really hard. Anything else? Pasties. It looks like it looks like a calzone. It's not a calzone at all. The dough is different. The paste, the dough is different. I don't know how to explain it. It's not pizza dough. It's nothing even similar to pizza dough. It's a different type of dough. The fillings are different. The taste is different. It looks like it, yes, but completely different flavor. It's nothing Italian at all. It's originally, my understanding is it's from Cornwall, in England. That there's like I think that's like an area of England. I forget if I don't know what they call them. District, territory, I don't know what it is. But my understanding is they're originally from there. But the Upper Peninsula and the upper part of Michigan where I live, it's a traditional food because immigrants brought it over. The miners and stuff ate it a lot, and it's so good. It's so good. Cornish pasty. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, those are so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they don't exist in Italy. They're not Italian things. Yeah, they're the traditional food of miners. Oh, they're so good. Man. It's more like pie crust. Yeah, it is. Yeah, It does have the consistency more like pie crust. I agree. Yeah. Cornwall is a country. Cornwall is in South. It's a county. It's a county. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Sausage rolls and Savoys. Luke, you would love Savoy. I would? Okay, I believe you, dude. Man. Aussie here. My mom used to make them. Really? Oh, dude, that's so awesome, dude. Heck yeah, man. Cornwall is part of British land. That's nice. They have a brownie in one side? Oh, no way. Man. How is Sergeant Orange? I don't know where Orange is. Orange is somewhere. My stomach is literally starting to growl right now. It's starting to feel empty. Oh, that's so good. Okay, let's continue with answering questions, which is what we typically do on these streams when we're not looking at food. What levels will Into the Fae be made for? Levels 1 through 5. And one of the stretch goals is to make additional adventures for it too. Which could technically take you to higher levels. Dane says, do you play around with cursed magic items? A little bit from time to time. I don't use cursed magic items a whole lot, in all honesty with you. Do you let Identify figure them out, or just let your players? No. There's no point. There's no point in having a cursed magic item, and then Identify tells the people what the curse is. It's like, what's the point? So what I do is I usually give my players handouts, either online or in person, that tells them what the magic item does. And so I'll make two versions. One is like what I give them, and the second one is the one that tells me what the curse is and stuff. And then when they actually put it on and stuff, and they figure out that it's been cursed, then I tell them what it is. But the thing is that once you get to like level 5 or so, being able to cast Remove Curse is trivial, and it's easy. And so, okay, so we got a cursed magic item. Great. Remove Curse, it's gone. Okay, we're done. It's not climatic. There's nothing interesting about that, in my opinion, you know? So it never appealed to me, you know? You'd have to make it so that Remove Curse didn't just take it off. You'd have to go on a quest or something to get rid of the curse or something. You'd have to tweak it and make it more interesting than just casting Remove Curse. Otherwise, it's just too trivial, and it's not worth the effort. Have you ever had the villain kidnap a player who wasn't present in the game? I don't think I've ever had that very specific scenario happen. No, I don't think so. I did in one of my games, and I had the player's character replaced with a simulacrum played by the same player. Okay, interesting. If I were to do something like that, I would talk to my player first. I don't know how you did it. I'm just talking. I would conspire with my character to do that. Have something really cool happen as a result. Do we have a time the Kickstarter is starting? Yes, Dan. It's September 1st. Dan Bayer, you know that answer to that. You're functioning as a plant to get me to answer the question or something. I don't know. You know when it. I don't believe that you don't know when it launches, dude. Sophie, thank you for the 5. What currency do you guys have in New Zealand? I don't even know what to call that. What's the currency? What do you guys call it? What's the New Zealand money called? I'm just gonna wait until I get an answer. I could Google it. Seashells? Seashells? Did you see what did you see what Simpatico said? He said seashells. It's called seashells. Oh, it's just called New Zealand dollars? Okay. Well, hey, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. What was your question? What is your Kickstarter goal? What's the goal? I mean, the goal is to get as much as possible, to get as many of the stretch goals as possible, because then I get to put more stuff in the book, you know, and everybody gets more, you know. So the goal is just as high as you can go. I mean, you know, what's the funding goal? The actual funding goal is very low. It's at 10,000, but that's just the base funding goal, and you want to set that as low as possible. You don't want to have that super high. But the stretch goals, there's a stretch goal. There are lots of stretch goals, and the stretch goals go all the way up to 200,000 to be able to unlock all of the content for the module. And all the stretch goals is just more content for the module, which everybody gets. And so it's in everybody's best interest, obviously, to reach those stretch goals. Are there any custom races in Into the Fae? I'm not doing custom races. No, I didn't make any custom races. There are lots of custom monsters, but it's a module. It's something. The way that I view modules as something that dungeon masters are going to use, and custom races are something that players would use to create characters with. So I'm not planning on doing custom races. Hey, I'm gonna use your middle name, Pedro. What's up, dude? What's up? How's it going in Brazil, man? I don't know how to pronounce your first name. I'm sorry. Hey, Elizabeth. What's up? How you doing? No, I'm not streaming BTS. Sorry, not happening. I'm out of coffee. Any tips on making sure you run a monster effectively with a stat block? I mean, the only tip to run it effectively, I think, is to read it beforehand and just think it through. I don't know. And it's going to vary by every monster. Every monster has different abilities and things they do. And so it's really going to vary by monster. I don't think I can give you a generic answer that answers that for every monster. What will you do if you get more than 200K for this Kickstarter? It'll just be more money, dude. I don't know. I've only planned stretch goals up to 200K. The thing is that I don't think I could. I don't know. Who knows what'll happen. I'll cross that bridge when it gets there. I know there are people that add on additional stretch goals if they're already hitting their existing ones. And if I get to that bridge, then I will cross it when I get there. Who knows? We might add more monsters in. We might add more cool stuff in. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we get there. But the you have to be a little bit careful though, because you can't make the book too thick. You know, like the thicker the book is, the more pages there are in the book, the more it costs to produce that book. You know. And if you just keep cramming more stuff into it, making it bigger and bigger, you know, then you start to look at like, oh crap, we're gonna go into the red, or we're you know, and that's not good. So you know, there's a limit to what you can put in a book. You know, Wizards doesn't publish books like that. There's a reason why. Are we switching to Twitch tonight? Yes, we're gonna switch to Twitch in probably about 20 minutes or so. Do I like sentient magic items? I think they're okay. I've used one before, and I always forget that it's sentient, and I always forget to roleplay it. So it's like I have too much stuff going on at the table and running a game to also remember that one of my players has a sentient morning star. So I probably don't like them a whole lot just because I always forget about them. I have to DM a short campaign about 20 hours with 5 players. How should I make sure that each player gets their moment in the spotlight with such limited time? You just do it. You just make plans for it. Build stuff into the game that focuses on each player a little bit or something. Make something that's going to be interesting to them. Make sure that when you're running the game from day to day, you just ask each player what they're doing if they're not telling you. And then if there are quiet folks that aren't saying anything, you say, hey John, what are you doing? Do you want to say anything to the NPC? You know, just simple stuff like that. I don't know how to answer that besides just saying, just do it. You work at it, you build it in, and you think of ways to do it. I take stuff from my players' backstories and I try to work it into the game. So there's something cool that they can interact with that brings them into the spotlight for a while. I do stuff like that. Do you change stat blocks from the monster manual so that your characters can't metagame, or do you run them as written? I do change them a lot, but it's not to prevent my players from metagaming. I don't care if they, for the most part, I don't care if they're metagaming. There occasionally there's a time when they're metagaming that's very, very obvious to me, and I'm just rolling my eyes. I'm just my brain is thinking, you dirty little metagamer. But for the most part, I just don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever. It's not one of those things that bothers me a whole lot. The reason I changed my monster stat blocks, though, is to make the monsters more interesting. That's why I would change them. It has nothing to do with metagaming. Do you plan to run Into the Fae with one of your groups? Not really. I don't really have a group that goes from level 1 to 5. And in all honesty, like most of the people that I would probably want to run it for are probably going to buy the module and stuff. So it's like they're gonna have it. It's like, I don't know what the point is. One of my groups, actually I should say, my Ancient Dragon campaign, they've played several of the adventures so far. I've kind of made it as a playtest. I kind of built it into their game as a way for me to help playtest the stuff, you know. So they kind of have been playing it a little bit, not everything, but to a certain extent, yes. Dan Bayer volunteers to play through with me. Oh yeah, I bet you do. You gotta don't leave your wife out though, dude. She will pound on you, man, if you don't let her play too. Penguin butt, yeah, I know you would play too. If you could play as a monster race in a campaign, what would it be? Ooh, that's interesting. That's so much better than what's your favorite monster question, by the way. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I'd have to think about it. I just don't know offhand. I could play as a monstrous race. What would be really cool to play as? I mean, I want to say something like a beholder or a mind flayer. That would be really fun. A mind flayer? Oh, I think I would have fun role playing a mind flayer. You know, eating people's brains and stuff. Oh, I think I would have fun with that. That would be fun. I think that would be fun. Yeah. Do you plan to make more Kickstarters? I don't know, Hell Jordan. It depends on the first one goes. It's one of those business moves where it's like, we need to try this and see how it goes. You know, does it? Because here's the thing. You know, I'm spending tons of time working on it and getting it and stuff. You know what I mean? And part of what I want to do is offer something really cool for folks that they're going to like and enjoy and use their game tables. But the other part of it is the business, you know, like if the business isn't making money on it, then if there's no ROI on it, then why am I doing it? That's a lot of time that so much time I'm spending working on this that I could be doing other things, you know? And so other things that people find just as valuable, you know what I mean? So there's both. I have to consider both. I'm giving somebody an awesome service, an awesome product, but at the same time, like, you know, my goal is to be doing this full time someday. And so I have to think on ROI. And so this is one of those things where it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's see how it goes. You know, if it goes well, then hey, there might be some more. If it doesn't go well, and if at the end of the day, the returns are just don't justify the time investment, then it might not happen again. It just depends. It depends. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have some thoughts on a second. I mean, the obvious things for a second one to follow up on it would be, okay, I did levels 1 to 5, and now let's do levels, you know, 6 to 10 or something. That would be an obvious follow up to it. I could also do sort of like a Dungeon Mastering 101 book where I take a lot of the advice and stuff from the videos and I put it into written format and I flesh it out a little bit and expand on it a little bit. Because sometimes videos are great, but sometimes you just want to have a book you can read. Like I have one book here. Like I don't always listen. I very rarely listen to like D&D videos, but this is a book that I'm reading right now that talks about role-playing games and stuff. And I like the book format. You know, it's good. So sometimes you just want a book for that sort of stuff. I'm gonna get more coffee. I need more coffee. Costa says, I just started playing D&D. How can I hook my players for good? Run a good game for them. That's the solution. Run an amazingly fun game. That's what you do. And I have an entire YouTube channel full of advice for how to run games. Make a con saving throw after drinking that coffee? Why? What's wrong with it? I've never had a player having fun with the tiefling feet flames of... I don't even know what that is. No. What's my approximate time frame for having Into the Fae module out after the Kickstarter is over? So the official promised time frame is to have it out by the summer of 2021. But my goal is to get it out before then. So the playtesting is going to last until like December, at which point we're going to start, working through the adventures according to playtesting, crap like that, getting into layout and formatting and stuff. And I also have to give all the artists time to make all of the illustrations that are going to be in the book. So that's probably good. That'll all go until like, the beginning of 2021. And then you're doing layout and you're doing, that sort of thing. And then you're sending it for printing and stuff. All that stuff takes time. So you're probably looking at like 2021 to actually get the book, which is why I'm offering the draft versions like almost immediately after the Kickstarter closes. So that way you can start playing way before the book comes out with the draft stuff. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to offer the drafts, so that people can feel like I actually got something that I can use. And I don't have to wait forever, like 8 months or something to actually get it. But it takes time. It takes time to do all that stuff. you know. How much would the End of the Fae book cost after the Kickstarter? Oh, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I can't make any promises. I have to do it first to try to figure that stuff out. What level are we doing for the adventure creation? I want to do level 1. I want to do a level 1 adventure. That's what I'm thinking. Have you ever DM'd to 60 plus years old people? No. I've never done it. If I were to do it, I wouldn't change anything. I would run my game the same way I run it now. Do your campaigns have a rough resemblance of a historical time period other than just vaguely medieval? Do you have a favorite historical period that inspires your campaigns? So, I love the Roman Greek area of history. Roman times, Greek times. I really like that period of history. I'm not particularly inspired by medieval times, in all honesty. All of that said, the games I run are pretty generic fantasy. They're not Romanesque or Greek or anything. They're just generic fantasy. I use Forgotten Realms, which I feel is part of the problem, because Forgotten Realms is just very bland and boring. I've been reading Eberron, and reading the you guys, I cannot recommend the Eberron mod campaign setting enough. It's been released recently or whatever for 5th edition. Eberron is so good. It's so rich. It's so interesting. It's so much better than Forgotten Realms. And so now that I'm reading Eberron, I'm seeing how bland Forgotten Realms is compared to Eberron. But yeah, so yeah, Greek and Roman is cool, which is why I'm excited for that Odysseys of Theros or whatever the actual name is. I have that. Did I order that yet? I think I ordered it. I think I ordered it, and it's supposed to be arriving sometime here. So I'm excited for that, but it's gonna take me probably a while to be able to read it. But I still like Eberron a lot. What's your opinion on magic items that evolve with the player? Starting damage dice at 6 and level 10 changes to D. I mean, I don't think it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. As long as you balance it, I think it's fine. My bigger question is, do players like it? Would players like that? Because once you have a magic weapon that evolves with you and gets stronger as you go, the premise of that would be that you're not going to keep on getting lots of other magic items. You're just that one's going to get better as you go. So that means they're not going to get special loot, as many different types of loot drops and stuff. And I'm not sure what players would find more interesting. Having the same magic item forever that gets more powerful, maybe that gets boring. Maybe they would rather just have a magic item at level 5, and then at level 8 they get a new one that's better, and then at level 15 they get an even better one. I wonder to what extent getting new ones is more fun. Like I feel as a player, I would rather get new ones as opposed to having the same one that just gets stronger as I go. So the biggest question for me for that right there is, what do players enjoy most? And I suspect, this is just me thinking, I suspect that it's probably more fun to get new stuff as opposed to just having the same thing that gets stronger. But that's just me. I don't know. And you'd have to ask people. I'm just one person with an opinion, obviously. Making and running NPCs that are much smarter than the DM, that's hard, dude. No, I don't really have any good tips on that. You just got to plan it out in advance. You got to think things through. But that's always a challenge. It's always a challenge, for sure. Will you pick up the new third-party Eberron book? It depends. I got to read the first one first. I'm not just gonna buy something because it exists. I have to actually think I'm gonna use it for something. Luke, are there any kind of fantasy races that you would want in D&D 5th edition that isn't in there now? No. I don't see any. I'm satisfied with the different choices that are out there currently. That said, if somebody makes a new one, I might be excited about that as well, but like, I just don't. What's your, oh, I answered that one already. Do you normally run 5e games with encumbrance rules? No, we ignore encumbrance. It's so not fun. Nobody has fun with encumbrance. If so, do you treat it as just a mechanical limitation, or do you create scenarios that make encumbrance a puzzle for your players? Oh gosh, no. Oh no. I like, maybe somewhere there's a player that wants to deal with encumbrance and deal with an encumbrance puzzle. I've not met them. I've heard someone say once, they're like, well, you know, back in the day, half of the fun was not just getting the money from the dragon, but it was figuring out how to get all the copper pieces back to town. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like fun to me, dude. That doesn't sound like fun. I'd rather just go kill another dragon and leave that loot behind if it's that hard. So no, that's just my opinion, obviously. But I don't find encumbrance. Yeah, Great Aunt Elizabeth says it perfectly. Encumbrance is an encumbrance. Yes, I would agree with that. My players in one of my games are in a long-term campaign, want to stay underground all the time, and just troll undercity dungeons forever. How do I get them? Why would you want to get them out of that funk? Why? Like, I challenge the premise that you should take them out of that funk. I challenge the premise that it's even a funk. If your players enjoy staying underground, doing dungeon crawls, like, okay, that you found something they like to do. It's like, I love pizza. You know, how do I get him to stop liking pizza and like liver and onions more? Like, dude, can I just not eat pizza forever? Let's pretend that pizza's not like gonna kill me when I'm super young. Let's pretend that pizza's somewhat healthy for me. You know, like if I like pizza and it's okay for me, then why not give me pizza? Now, the only thing to consider, of course, is if the dungeon master is not having fun with that game and it feels really unsatisfied, then you have a point there, because, you know, if the dungeon master is not having fun and doesn't want to run that game, then that game's probably not going to last very long. But if you're okay running that game and your players love just dungeon crawling, then let them dungeon crawl, dude. Everybody's having fun. It's a win-win-win. You could argue, well, there's so much more to the game that they could be doing. Yeah, but they don't want to, dude. They're having fun. So it's not a funk. It's I think it's fine. I would be okay doing dungeon crawls with a group. If I had a group that just wanted to do dungeon crawls, okay, let's get Dungeons and Mad Mage. Let's do dungeon crawls. Let's do it. Tons of fun can be had just dungeon crawling. How long am I going to be QAing? Like about 1 more minute, and then we're gonna go to Twitch and we're gonna do an adventure. We're gonna create an adventure together. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I forget now. Dungeon crawls are easier to run as a dungeon master. Yes, they are so much easier to run. The things that are challenging for a dungeon master to run are outside of the dungeon. Once you got your group in the dungeon, life is easy, man. Life is so easy to run dungeons. It's not a problem. It's the wide open world, the towns with all the NPCs and the traveling and stuff, and that's the stuff that's more challenging to run. Dungeon crawls are easy to run. Oh, I'd hang out in a dungeon all day long. The neighbor is screaming. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Oh man. Hey, look at this little guy. Little guy! What are you doing? What are you doing down here? Where are you going? He's like, let me show everybody my butt. Why don't you roll? Roll. Roll. Come on, little guy. He's a little guy. He likes to roll. I don't know why he doesn't want to roll now. He's gonna play with Squeaky's tail. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap up the Q&A here. I know I didn't answer everybody's questions and stuff like that, but I do stream on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays after our Friday Q&A. But on Mondays and Wednesdays, you can always swing in by and ask questions and stuff, and we hang out, especially on Mondays. Mondays is just a pure hangout where I answer questions. Wednesdays, I paint miniatures, but we spend most of the time talking too. So what we're gonna do right now is the Q&A is ending. I am going to go over to my Twitch channel, which moderators will link below for you all. And you can join me all over there on Twitch, and we are going to create a level 1 adventure together. And when we're done creating the level 1 adventure, I'll post links to it so you all can use it in your games and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna see you all over in Twitch. It takes me about 5 minutes or so to get everything switched over from YouTube to Twitch, and then I'll be going live on Twitch, and we'll do our thing over there. All right. So see you guys on Twitch. Yeah, that's all they wrote. I'm gonna end the stream now.